Hi guys, welcome back to Father and Son Investing. We're going to talk about Matterport again today. There are a few things I want to talk to you about Matterport. Number one is the falling stock price. It has come down quite a bit, even more than I actually thought it would. We'll talk about what I think is going on there, and at the end of this video I'll give you my opinion of whether now this is a good time to buy. We're also going to talk about January 18th, which is coming up soon. There are a number of items that are going to happen on January 18th that investors need to know about. We're going to talk about what I think the fourth quarter earnings report is going to look like and how that might affect the stock price as well. And then we're going to talk about the AWS effect and what I think the first quarter earnings report for 2022 might look like. All right, let's talk first about the stock price. Of course, we all know that it made this nice run up into the mid-30s, and since then it's just taken this massive decrease in price. We're down to $15.61 today. What is going on? Well, there are a number of things happening. Of course, I talked to you previously about the warrants being exercised. Of course, people now are exercising their warrants and buying those shares, which of course is going to dilute the stock and decrease the price. But that is not all that's happening here. What else is happening? Well, January 18th is coming. I think investors might be thinking about that. We'll talk more about that in a second, but I really think the big reason why the stock price is going down so much right now just has to do with the overall tech sell-off that's going on. Of course, the NASDAQ has just been plummeting in the last few days. I really think that's what's hitting Matterport's share price the most right now. I honestly didn't think that the share price was going to fall below 17 given the coming events that I have talked about and will talk about. But again, I think that the NASDAQ and the tech sell-off is just really what's hitting Matterport. Now, that's a great thing for people who want to buy Matterport stock because, of course, you're getting it at this nice reduced price. All right, let's talk about January 18th. Why is that going to be an important day for Matterport stockholders? Well, first of all, let's go back into some of the Matterport documents here. We're going to look at their prospectus. In the prospectus, we'll turn to page 37 here, and in this paragraph, we'll see that it says, during the period beginning on the 180th day following the closing and ending on the 5th anniversary date, blah, 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 certain things can happen. In this case, the certain things are earnout shares, and we'll talk in a moment about earnout shares. Now, also important for the 180th day is the end of the lockup period for the insiders of this Matterport and Gores Holdings merger. So let me just show you how I came up with January 18th, 2022 as being the important date. Of course, the merger closed on July 22nd, 2021, and the prospectus states that beginning on the 180th day from the closing. So I went to a calendar here, I added 180 days from July 22nd, 2021, and I come up with January 18th. So that's why I see this as the important day. So what's important about the 180th day? Well, again, the lockup shares become available. Now, lockup shares will not be necessarily diluting the stock. Those were shares that already existed, but they will become available on public markets. And of course, if we're looking at supply and demand, that's going to increase the supply. And if the demand doesn't meet that same level, we're going to see the stock price come down. Now, one thing that is going to happen that will dilute the shares is something called earn-out shares. This is strictly based upon stock price 30 days before the 180th day. There are 6 tranches of earn-out shares, and those are at $13 all the way up to $25.50. You can see them there on your screen. The contingency on this is that for a period of at least 10 days out of 30 consecutive trading days, that's important to remember, trading days, not calendar days, during the period beginning on the 180th day. So essentially what this means is if the stock price meets any of these levels for at least 10 days, they don't have to be consecutive, just 10 days out of 30 consecutive trading days, each of these tranches of shares will be issued to these insiders and will dilute the stock and will become available on the public market. So to figure out the 30 trading days, including January 18th, this calendar says that it would be December 8th of 2021. We're going to go ahead then and use Yahoo Finance to show us the closing price of the stock on each day all the way back to December 8th. We're We're going to go ahead and shrink this enough that we can get all of the trading days up to yesterday's closing price on one screen. Now, what do we gather from this closing price data? Well, back on December 8th, the closing price was $26.03. And we will see that there are not 10 days where the price remains above $25 or even above $23 during this trading period above here. So what do we gather from that? We know that only 4 of those tranches are going to come about. Those will be the tranches from $13 up to $20.50. Well, each of the tranches will be for 3,910,000 shares. So we're going to see 1, 2, 3, 4 tranches being met. When I do the math, multiplying that, we're looking at about 15.5 million shares becoming available. Now, again, that is going to dilute the stock. These were shares that didn't exist before that will exist as of January 18th. So what do I expect Matterport stock to do on January 18th? I expect it to decline. Now, the exact ending price of that is going to depend on how much this tech sell-off is still going on. What else do I expect in future Matterport share price? Well, this fourth quarter earnings report is going to be key. Remember at the third quarter that Matterport was saying that they were having difficulty manufacturing their cameras, which was affecting their revenue. Of course, they have brought the price of their cameras down, which is also kind of strange if you're trying to generate revenue, but I think they're just trying to sell off what they can in terms of cameras. Maybe they're planning on a new camera. That's purely speculative on my part. So when the fourth quarter report comes out, I don't think we're going to see anything significant in terms of revenue. In fact, we're going to probably see the revenue has gone down for the fourth quarter. That, of course, is going to affect the share price as well. Now, what do I think about the first quarter earnings report, which, of course, will come out later in 2022? I think we're going to see some revenue increase, and I'm going to call that the AWS effect. If you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, Matterport and AWS, which, of course, is part of Amazon, came together when AWS made the digital twin website. They are including Matterport as one of their partners in there. I think that's going to drive some business for Matterport when companies are trying to create their digital twins. So I actually think that's going to give a nice revenue increase for that first quarter earnings report and subsequently out into the future as more and more companies create digital twins. I see that as a win. Now, let me just hit one other thing before I close up and give you my opinion on whether it's a good time to buy Matterport. I did a previous video talking about Matterport's acquisition of Enview, Inc. Of course, that was just an announcement. We didn't know the details. Well, now we know the details. It says on January 5th, this officially closed. The price for acquiring Enview, Inc. was $35.5 million in cash. Of course, Matterport had lots of cash from that merger with Gores Holdings, and they're going to be getting cash from the exercising of warrants at $11.50 per share that people will be doing up to January 14th. So I see that they still are going to have plenty of cash on hand. So they're going to pay out $35.5 million in cash, and get this, they're also going to be issuing shares, 1.59 million shares to the people from Enview of Matterport stock. So again, we're diluting the shares again by 1.59 million. Now, there is a lockup period for those shares, so we're looking out into the summertime of 2022 before these 1.59 million shares also become tradable on the market. All right, let's get to the last point. Is now a good time to buy Matterport shares? I certainly have bought some this week. I bought it for a little less than 17. Of course, the price has come down from there. If you haven't entered your position here on Matterport, I think it's worth buying some shares now. Of course, I think the stock is going to come down for the number of reasons that I've stated, but what I can't totally factor in is what the tech sell-off is going to do. Of course, that is more global in the market and not just affecting Matterport individually. So depending on how that tech sell-off continues or reverses, of course, Matterport stock may be at this same level on January 18th, or it may be significantly lower. I myself went ahead and purchased some. I'm going to hold off now until around January 18th. I have enough for myself, But if you haven't entered a position yet here, 1570 is not a bad price. And certainly the price may come down lower, in which case you can buy some more. If it happens to go up, well, you did get some at 1570. I'm of the opinion that this company is not making money yet. It certainly is still losing plenty of money. I am not going wholehearted into Matterport. I have purchased some because I like the idea and I like the company. I want to see it start generating more revenue and actually generating earnings, in which case then I will be more interested in picking up even more. Unless, of course, the price dips down to a ridiculously cheap amount. Share this information with a young person in your life. Make investing a family affair. Have good discussions with young people about what you think about stocks and companies. And until next time, enjoy your investing.